Hey guys, Analytical Strategy here. I just want to put out a really quick video of my thoughts related to the first episode of Australian Survivor, which aired last night. And this video is going to be in relation to a new advantage we have yet to see in Survivor history. So I'm just going to be talking off the top of my head. This will have spoilers if you are yet to see this episode. So if you haven't seen it, I'd recommend clicking off and watching this later. And if you do dig these types of videos, please let me know and I can discuss more components of this new season as they come up throughout the season. So basically, I will be talking about this new advantage, which was found by, in his own words, a dodgy politician in George. And basically, this advantage gave him the power. At the first tribal council he attended, he could leave the tribal council and bring 5 people with him to leave this tribal. He could bring 5 people with him to leave this tribal. So in this season with Brains versus Brawn, there's 2 tribes of 12. So half his tribe was able to get up and leave with him, leaving only 6 people remaining at tribal to go home at this first tribal council. I mean, it's crazy. So first things first, production, I hate to say it, but I think you're trying a little bit too hard here to make things interesting too early in the season. I can understand bringing in new ideas and concepts as the season goes on, but in episode 1, you're basically giving 6 people immunity at the first tribal. And in turn, you made someone who was probably the 3rd or 4th person in line to go home this episode. And here's someone who appeared to be an audience favourite. He also knew his position well in the game. He knew he wasn't the most strong physically, but he did have a couple of people that were going to go before him. But he could have done literally nothing to save himself, as he could never have seen this twist coming. And why would have he been able to see this coming? It's completely out of the blue. So Phil, I feel really sorry for you for being that first person going home. I saw Phil as someone who could really have improved as the game went on and potentially been an important part of the season. So I was glad Wei was saved, as she does seem like a good character. But still, I think 10 out of the 12 people on that tribe were going to vote her out at this first tribal council. And instead, one of those 10 people was sent packing in Phil. So it was really unfortunate for him. Due to this, I think I honestly think, I hate to say it again, production, but I think it's a terrible advantage, and I really hope it never comes back to the show. Now, putting that aside, putting what I think about the advantage aside, which is pretty evident, I think George, who found the advantage, could have done a lot of things with it. He could have played it in a range of different ways. It wasn't just as clear-cut as going to tribal, playing the advantage, picking the people and then leaving. I think the way he played it was probably the worst option of them all. So I'll run through them now. So basically, to begin with, the way he played it is he didn't tell anyone about it. He went to tribal. He picked some people, including Wei, who was in the firing line, and he went back to tribal. And then the 6 remaining people, 5 of the 6 all voted out Phil. So the first thing he could have done was not play it at all. And I think this probably would have been the smartest play, with 10 out of the 12 people wanting Wei gone. He was one of the 2 people that didn't. He could have voted for her. 11 people could have voted for the one person. Strengthens tribe unity, and he wouldn't put himself in the firing line. So I think it was, a really bad option. So I think not playing it at all would have potentially been the smartest play. Now that he has played it, everyone wants him out. He's in danger, and I would be shocked if George had any longevity in this game unless Advantage Kedden strikes again. Secondly, he could have, if he did want to play it, he could have rounded up a group of 6 prior to Tribal Council and used this advantage as a way to solidify an alliance prior to then. So the people he was taking out were at least aware of this twist being in play. So at least from the edit, no one knew that he was going to be playing this advantage. So the people he selected to take back to camp, aside from Wei, will probably still want him out of the game, as the remaining 6 that were left at Tribal Council were really angry with him and really wanted him out. So I think he's going to be in a lot of danger now. Thirdly, he could have done something very similar. He could have still rounded up this group of 6. He could have left the 5 that he wanted within that alliance he could have left those 5 at the tribal council. So he was really targeting this GP Mitch. I believe his name was Mitch. So this is basically a rivalry, and his arch nemesis is Mitch. So George versus Mitch is sort of the story we're getting at the moment. So Mitch was safe. He was in a power position, and Phil was voted out of the game. So if he rounded up a group of 6 people, he left the 5 that were within his alliance at the tribal council, and then picked the remaining people that weren't Mitch to go back to camp with him. He could have at least gotten Mitch out of the game. So he could have told those 5 people, I'm going to leave you at tribal council, I'm going to bring everyone else back to camp, and then you can actually get the person out of the game that you're trying to get out of the game. So instead, Mitch remains in the game, again with George firmly in his sights, and Mitch is in a power position. So again, George is in a lot of trouble. And lastly, he could have put the advantage back where he found it originally. He could have left it there for someone else to find it. But alternatively, I think he should have put it back where it was and then gone to the well with, say, a Wei who was in danger of going home, pointed it out to her under that brick and say, Wei, what's that? Grab it. Grab that thing. Grab that brick, move it to the side and grab whatever's under it. So she would have been the one that would have founded it. It still could have protected her, and it still could have protected her without putting this huge target on his back. So she was in danger. No one would have had sour grapes with Wei, as she was playing it to protect herself. But ultimately, it could have still protected her without him being the one with now this huge target on his back. So again, basically, I think this isn't the best advantage that a Survivor season has come up with, but even so, the way it was played was pretty poor. It was a super messy tribal council. We have seen that this advantage is also on the Brawn tribe. So if the Brawn tribe does find this advantage, I'll be really interested to see who finds it and what they will do with it and how they'll play it, because honestly, it could not get much worse than George. So yeah, I just wanted to give my thoughts about this particular advantage, how it was played, ways it can be improved in the future, and yeah, overall, if you do enjoy these types of videos where I'm just sort of talking and giving my opinion on what can be improved and new concepts as they arise, hopefully we'll be able to see some new concepts, but they might be a little bit better than the one we've seen here. So yeah, this is Analytical Strategy. I really appreciate you listening. I hope you're enjoying the season so far. It does have a very unique cast, and it'll be very interesting to see how it plays out. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.